everyone. Today we will talk about break-even analysis. Now, what is the main objective of break-even analysis? The main objective of break-even analysis is to find the cut-off production volume from where a firm will make a profit. Now, let us know first from the total sales revenue. The total sales revenue of the firm is given by the following formula, which is the total sales revenue is equal to the selling price per unit multiplied by the volume of production. Now, for example, company produces toys that sell 1 unit of product for a price of $100 for each of its first 100 units. If it sells 100 toys, its total revenue would be $10,000. Now the company sells the next 100 toys for $80 a unit. Now how much is its total revenue? Let us proceed to the solution with the formula for the total sales revenue. The first total sales of 100 units are $10,000. Then the second batch of 100 units is $8,000. Now for the total revenues, therefore, is $18,000 for 200 units. For the total cost, the formula will be used is the total cost of the firm for a given production volume is the summation of total variable cost and fixed cost, whereas the total variable is the product of variable cost per unit and volume of production. Now let us try to solve this problem. For example, suppose a company leases office space for $20,000 per month, rents machinery for $15 per month, and has an $8,000 monthly utility bill. If a company produces 3,000 toys at $15 per unit, and it must pay employees $10,000 in overtime to keep up with the demand, now what is the total cost of the firm for a given production volume? From the total cost formula, the first fixed cost is the composition of payment for office, machinery, and utility bill with a total of $43,000. And the second fixed cost is the overtime pay for employees worth $10,000 to make 3,000 toys with variable cost per unit of $15. Now all we have to do is to sum up the fixed cost and add the product of quantity and unit price of each quantity. Now the value of the total cost will be equal to $98,000. For any production quantity which is more than the break-even quantity, the total revenue will be more than the total cost. Therefore, the firm will be making a profit. Now, profit is the difference between the sales and the total cost. Now, if we try to check the profit of the last problem, it has a negative result. It means that producing 3,000 toys was not enough to get the company a profit. Now let us proceed to break-even quantity and break-even sales quantity. What is the difference between these two? Break-even quantity is the ratio of fixed cost to the difference between the selling price and variable cost, while the break-even sales are the value of break-even quantity multiply it by the selling price per unit. Break-even quantity also in terms of the units, while the break-even sales is in terms of the unit of the money. Now for the contribution, contribution is the difference between the sales and the variable costs. The contribution margin represents the portion of a product's sales revenue that is not used up by variable cost, and so contributes to covering the company's fixed costs. When it comes to the margin of safety is the difference between actual sales and break-even sales. The margin of safety uses by the managers because they can utilize the margin of safety to know how much sales can decrease before the company or a project becomes unprofitable. Let us try to solve the sample problem. A company has the following details. Fixed cost is equal to $200,000. Variable cost per unit is equal to $100. Selling price per unit is equal to $200. Now, we need to find the break-even sales quantity, the break-even sales, and if the actual production quantity is 60,000, now we need to find the contribution and margin of safety by all methods. Now for the first requirement, we use the formula of break-even sales quantity and substitute the values to the formula. $200,000 for the fixed cost, $200 for the selling price per unit, and $100 for the variable cost per unit. Therefore, the break-even sales quantity is equal to 2,000 units. Now let us proceed to the second requirement, the break-even sales. To solve this, the result from the break-even sales quantity should be multiplied by the selling price per unit. Then the value of break-even sales is equal to $400,000. How about the contribution if the actual production quantity is 60,000? Contribution is the difference between sales and variable cost. Now we need to substitute the formula of these two and substitute the values given from the problem. Now the result is $6 million as a contribution. Now when it comes to marginal sales, the formula for marginal sales of method 1 is the difference between actual sales and break-even sales. From the substituted values to the formula, the result is $11.6 million for marginal sales under the method 1 solution. For another method of marginal sales, we use the formula of profit over contribution and then multiply it by the sales. As we can see, there are solved values that we could substitute to the formula except for the profit. So all we need to do is to set the formula for the profit and substitute the given values to the formula. Then the result of the profit is equal to $5.8 million. Afterward, we get back to the formula of marginal sales and substitute the solved values to the formula. The result is equal to $11.6 million. Now to find out what is the percent of marginal sales, we use the formula that is equal to marginal sales over sales, then multiply it by 100 to convert it into percent value. And the result is equal to 96.67%. Therefore, to this problem, the company has a great sales that may contribute to having more profit if they will produce more products for the consumers. That's all for today and have a great day everyone.